Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. So have you ever watched a film that feels more like a mood than a story? Well, that's The Ballad of a Small Player. It's not flashy, it doesn't rush you, and it's not really about winning or losing in the traditional sense. The film is directed by Edward Berger, who you might know from All Quiet on the Western Front. Berger has a style that is consistent. It focuses on character and atmosphere, letting the visuals, the silence, and the subtle performances carry the show. It carries the story instead of it being flashy. So he doesn't spell everything out. Instead, he trusts the audience to notice the small details, the expression, the pauses, and the tension in between. So in this film, you can see it clearly. Macau's, the city's neon lit casinos and the empty hotel corridors, and the quiet moments when Doyle is alone, are framed to make you feel the isolation and weight that he carries. It's a world that looks lively, and but underneath it's very lonely and sometimes even a little oppressive. The story follows Doyle, played by Colin Farrell, a British gambler hiding out in Macau. He's trying to maintain appearance while his life is slowly unraveling. But what keeps you watching isn't the wins or the loses, it's how the film shows him coping with his regrets and mistakes and the parts of his life that he wants to escape but he can't. One of the standout features is the atmosphere, the visuals. The city of Macau itself becomes a character itself. It's flashy, it's chaotic, colorful on the surface but isolating beneath. The film's visual style captures the contrasts really well. For example, the casino scenes are brightly lit and full of activity, yet Doyle often feels alone even in the crowd. The tension between the environment and the character's inner state is central to the movie. So, the cinematography often lingers on Doyle's face with long empty spaces, giving the audience time to absorb the mood. The slow pace and lingering shots are intentional, which I like. So they encourage you to notice how the character reacts even in silence. So this approach makes the movie feel reflective rather than thrilling. So while some viewers might think it's meditative, while other might feel it's just slow. So Farrell is the anchor of the film. His performance is subtle but it's effective. It's a mix of charm, weariness, and a quiet panic. He doesn't overreact. Instead, the story relies on his small gestures, on his silences, on his poses, on his glances. It creates a sense of a man who is deeply aware of his mistakes, but he still clings to what's left. So Fala Shen plays as Dao Ming in the movie. This character is calm, collected, and observant. She doesn't dominate the story, but her presence gives Doyle someone to reflect off to. The tension adds depth to the film, though her character could have been explored further. The dynamic between these two is very interesting because it's underrated. The movie doesn't dramatize their interactions. It's less cues. It has subtle cues and it glances in their poses and a tone of voice. It carries the emotional weight. That's consistent with Berger's style. He wants you to feel the mood rather than see it in the drama. The film explores theme of identity, regret, and illusion, and control. Doyle's gambling isn't just about money, it's a way to maintain a sense of power in his life that is slipping away. The movie often shows him making small gestures that feel meaningless, but they reveal something deeper about his character when you look at it deeply. There's also a recurring feeling of ghosts, not literal spirits, but the consequences of his past actions. These emotional ghosts appear in quiet moments, like when Doyle reflects in the hotel room or walks through empty corridors. The story doesn't explain everything, but that ambiguity encourages you to think about what these moments actually mean. I also found the film pacing interesting in relation to its themes. Because it's slow, you get time to consider the weight of Doyle's choices. It's a film that asks patience, and in the patience, you notice more about the character's inner life. Strengths-wise, the film excels at atmosphere, tone, and subtle character work. Macau is visually striking, and the design of the casino and hotel spaces support the story well. Farrell's performance is believable, and the small interactions feel grounded into reality. On the other hand, the emotional connection isn't always strong. Secondary characters, including Dao Ming, are somewhat underdeveloped. Some viewers might want more insight into their motivation or background. The pacing can also be slow enough to test patience, especially if you're a person that prefers drama in plot-driven movies. Additionally, the payoff story isn't traditional. The film doesn't resolve everything neatly, leaving some questions in your head unanswered. That's intentional, but it might leave audiences unsure what the overall message means. The film works as character study rather than conventional gambling story. It's more about mood, reflection, and subtle emotional tension than plot twists or suspense. That means some viewers will appreciate the nuances, while others might find it distant or slow. What's interesting is that the movie makes you think what about Doyle as a person rather than just a gambler. You're observing someone who navigates consequences, regret, and self-perception, often in silence. That's where the film's strength lies. It lingers with you after the credits roll, even if it doesn't hit you with a strong emotional payoff. In the end, The Ballad of a Small Player is thoughtful and content, but not necessarily striking. It's well made, it's well acted, and it's visually polished. It doesn't shout at the audience, but instead it quietly shows you the world through Doyle's eyes. If you enjoy slow, reflective, character-driven films, you might appreciate it. If you prefer fast-moving, emotionally intense stories, you might feel distant and unresolved. For me, I'd give it a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. Neutral, capable, interesting in parts, but not unforgettable. It's a film that asks you to observe, reflect, and think rather than it being entertaining in the usual sense. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and comment if you have watched the movie. Thank you for being with me. Until I see you again, goodbye.